Wow, watch as we unbox these 5 new Jurassic World survival dinos and have dino battles on Amazing Dinosaurs on YouTube. I'm super excited. Today we have 5 brand new Jurassic World survival dino toys to unbox for you. These are the ones that came out after Jurassic World Rebirth, and they are awesome. So we have the Jurassic World Survival Wild Roar Ceratosaurus, Jurassic World Survival Strike Attack Dimorphodon, Jurassic World Survival Wild Roar Brachauchenius, Jurassic World Survival Wild Roar Afrovenator, and the Jurassic World Survival Strike Attack Cosmoceratops. Cool. Let's open these up. Indominus Rex first. Dinos line charging. And down they go. Now it's time for him. Afrovenator vs. King Kong. Okay, so we got the Jurassic World Survival Wild Roar Afrovenator. So chomping, turning action, the head and the body lights up with like green coloring. It's just hard to tell because I have really bright lights here. But I mean, it is awesome. Also, you have new packaging, which is really cool. You got the T-Rex popping out there. Got a light up attack, and there's the other 3 you could buy. I got all of them except the Pteranodon. Afrovenator is awesome. I love the attack. I love the look. I love how it lights up. The sound, everything. I mean, Mattel hit it out of the ballpark with these ones. So again, there is the attack on it, which is totally awesome. You could do it from both sides. I mean, it does twist to the other side, but it's still really cool looking. The teeth are really awesome, different size teeth to make it a lot more realistic. You got a frill on the mouth there, a frill underneath. You got the arms that move up and down, the legs to put it into different positions, like running or standing up. You got the tail that moves. It's just really awesome looking dino. I love what Mattel is doing with these new Jurassic World survival lines. They are really cool, and they look like they're custom painted. Okay, so here's the parts of the dino that actually light up. You can see the body and the head, and also it does it on both sides. Afrovenator vs. King Kong. Okay, so we have the Jurassic World Survival Wild Roar Ceratosaurus. It's his new packaging, Jurassic World Survival. You got a really cool T-Rex popping out there, but this Ceratosaurus steals the show. So it does have chomping, roaring, and the neck and the whole body lights up with like a yellow color. And I mean, the detail on the dino, I mean, it looks like a custom painted dino. It is just so cool. There you can see exactly what lights up on the dino. There's the other 3. I'm only missing the Pteranodon. ahead and check her out because she is awesome. I say her because the Jurassic Park dinos from the original movie were all female, so I'm sort of assuming these are. Well, anyways, with the way this thing lights up, I'll show you in the dark in a moment, but you have a really cool attack there. Roaring is fantastic. The teeth are all different lengths, giving it a much more realistic look. They are made out of rubber. You got this horn on the head, the evil, beady yellow eyes. The arms move up and down. You could have her in like running positions. Let me zoom in a little. Running positions like that, or you could have her pretty much standing straight up. You've got the tail that moves. I mean, it's just fantastic. I mean, the job they did with this, I mean, it's unreal. I mean, it looks better than a lot of my custom painted dinos that were professionally done. There we have it. Okay, so here is the dino in a little bit darker area so you can see where it lights up, and also on both sides, so it is really cool effect, even on the bottom of its neck there. Ceratosaurus vs. King Kong. So we got the Jurassic World Survival Wild Roar Brachauchenius. Probably killing that, but wow, the Wild Roar packaging is awesome. You got a new logo. You got the T-Rex popping out of the package over there. You got this guy, which is similar to a Cretaceous. So all these parts here light up like a green color, which is really cool. So you can see here exactly what lights up, like stripes of green from the head down through the body. There's the other three. I'm only missing the Trinidad. Wild Roar Brachauchenius. Reminds me of the Dinosaur. Anyways, really cool chomping action and sound and lights. I mean, like I said earlier, Mattel went all out with these. I like how the fact that you could move the fins up and down, so it looks almost like he is walking. Really cool coloring. I mean, these are just awesome dinos. Mattel really hit it out of the ballpark with these. Even like silver, like underneath, is really cool. Okay, so here's the dino in like a darker area. You can see how it lights up like in different stripes and like different patterns, which is really cool. I'm loving these dinos, from the lighting to the roaring to the look, everything. Oh, it just stopped. Say, it just stopped for some reason. Cool. Brachauchenius vs. King Kong. Okay, next one is Jurassic World Survival Strike Attack Dimorphodon. So these are the new survival ones, really cool, like T-Rex logo and everything, but really bright coloring. It looks like the Chaos Theory dinosaur toys from Jurassic Park that Hasbro used to make, which were really awesome. So you got like super good flapping action, really bright coloring over the whole dino. It says wing flapping action, and here is the other three. I'm only missing the Dilophosaurus and the Nanotyrannus. There is our awesome Dimorphodon. If you push the button really quick, he flutters his wings almost like a butterfly. Really cool looking. His mouth opens and closes. It's like red and purple. He's got like a yellow eyes there. Here's from underneath, and then here is from above. So I mean, I'm loving the coloring on the wings. Really does remind me of the Chaos effect ones, the Chaos Theory from Hasbro, Mattel, Jurassic World. Actually, Hasbro Jurassic World dinosaur toys from Jurassic Park. Dimorphodon versus King Kong. Okay, and next one is Jurassic World Survival Strike Attack Kosmoceratops. Similar to Cosmo Kramer from Seinfeld? Maybe. They both look kind of wild. So you got the T-Rex there. You can see this guy's got really cool, like almost like teeth hanging off his plate over there. It'd be nice if they kept this with the bright colors for the other Jurassic World survival ones. It says head striking action, and there is the other three. Cool. Okay, then our Cosmoceratops. This is the only one I'm disappointed in the new Jurassic World toy line because it has no bright colors. I mean, it is cool. It's got like these protrusions from its crest. The horns are like curved, the front and back. It has a little bit of an action feature if you push the button. It looks really cool, but it would have looked a lot cooler with like purple and blue and orange and yellow coloring, and just, I think it would have really made it pop. King Kong vs. Cosmoceratops. Start up your Jurassic World Fun app, hit scan off my picture I included for you. And there you have our first one, Afrovenator. He looks even cooler live than he does as the toy. Wow, I'm loving it. Then moving on to the next one, and scan off the picture I included for you. Our Ceratosaurus. Really aggressive, cool looking dino. And check that out. Oh yeah, I'm loving the tail scope too. Then our next one is our aquatic dino. We don't have too many of those. So let's enjoy the ones that we do. Yeah, really cool looking dino. Love how it's just like floating on the water there. Get him to attack. Whoa. Yeah, I'm lucky. Moving on to our Dimorphodon. Ooh, that one's angry. He's got some anger issues. Anyways, really cool looking. And then our Cosmoceratops. Like I said, the most disappointing of the bunch. Let's see if he's cooler. Oh, okay. That was pretty cool. Oh, he stands up on his hind legs to when he's like attacking. Ooh, check that out.
Today we're checking out a huge Jurassic World Predator versus Predator collection where I'll be comparing many of these dinosaurs side by side. Plus, I've got a new Jurassic World dino trackers that we'll be checking out as well. But let's get started with this Scorpius Rex and this Ceratosaurus. This Scorpius Rex figure is quite a bit larger than many of the Jurassic World figures I have. It has these huge claws on its hands, comes with sound effects and the 2 action buttons on its back. Plus those huge poisonous quills as well. And let's check out the Ceratosaurus. It's got an orange body with some brighter coloring. It's got a bunch of spikes running along the top of its head, and you can use its tail to move its head back and forth and to chomp its jaw as well. Next up, we've got the giant T-Rex figure and an Endoraptor figure. This T-Rex figure is actually a bit older. It's got a rubbery neck and the rubbery tail. This figure has a huge chomping action. When you lift up its head, it roars, and then when you lift its tail, it chomps down with some sound effects too. And this Endoraptor figure is pretty awesome as well. It's a bit bigger than many of the Endoraptor figures I have, and it has a really cool feature where you can move the tail to twist its torso around, move its neck, and there's even buttons to control its arms and its jaw as well. And check it out, even its eyes light up too. Next up, we've got another T-Rex, but this one is a green color versus a Carnotaurus figure. The T-Rex is a bit bigger, and it has some cool black detailing right along the top. Plus, you can adjust the neck to look in all sorts of directions and use the button at the top of its head to open and close its jaw too. And the Carnotaurus over here, although it's a little bit smaller, it has some pretty awesome detailing as well. It comes in the dark brown color, it has the gray underbelly, and it has a tail that moves its head side to side and up and down, and opens and closes its jaws too. Next up in Predator versus Predator, we've got a Suchomimus, and right over here we've got the Irritator. The Suchomimus is a little bit larger and it has blue and yellow coloring along its body. It's got a huge spine running down all the way down its tail, and it has an action button to chomp its really long and narrow snout. And let's check out this Irritator dinosaur as well, which actually looks somewhat similar as the Suchomimus. They've both got tall spines running along their back and long, narrow snouts too. You can open and close the mouth manually, and you can actually use the tail to move its head around too. Down here, we've got an Albertosaurus versus a Rajasaurus. The Albertosaurus here has some extreme battle damage on its side that you can close. See its ribs that you can open and close, and you can close its skin entirely. Plus, the rest of its body is very adjustable as well. You can even move the neck around to look in all different directions too. And the Rajasaurus is an entirely different color and a little bit smaller than the Albertosaurus. It's got dark blue and some white. It's got some huge spikes running along the top of its head, and it has an action that when you press down on its back, it chomps. Here we've got 2 T-Rexes from different eras of Jurassic World. This first one is more recent. It's from Jurassic World Dominion, and this is an older one. I think it's from Camp Cretaceous actually. Comparing the size, I think the Camp Cretaceous one is a little bit larger. This one is really cool because you can use the tail to move the head up and down and open and close the jaw too. And the Jurassic World Dominion T-Rex, although a little bit smaller, has some really cool coloring. It's like a darker brown-orange color. Plus it has the extreme battle damage right on the side that you can turn on and off with the click of a button. Here are some winged dinosaurs. This one right here is a Quetzalcoatlus, and this orange one is a Pteranodon. The Pteranodon is a lot more simple in color. It's mostly this brown-orange clay coloring. It has some yellow detailing on the wings, and you can open and close the mouth manually as well. The Quetzalcoatlus is a bit more of a sophisticated toy. You can actually fold the wings closed all the way, and there's action buttons on its back to flap the wings and to chomp its jaw as well. Plus, it's got some really cool coloring as well. And I think that the Quetzalcoatluses are much larger than Pteranodons in real life. We've got a huge dinosaur figure right here, and also a smaller one right on top of it. This huge one is a Mosasaurus, and this smaller one is a Sarcosuchus dinosaur. This huge Mosasaurus figure is an ocean dinosaur, so you'll see this in the water. I'm sure you recognize it from the first Jurassic World movie. And it's probably 2 or 3 feet long from the tip of its mouth all the way to the tail. And you can adjust all the fins and open and close its mouth. Now this Sarcosuchus figure is a lot smaller, and it may not have lived entirely in the water, but I believe that these dinosaurs lived by the water and might have even hunted in it as well. It's got this super long and narrow snout, and it looks a lot like an alligator in a way. It looks like it has some armor plating all along its back too, and you can use the tail to open and close the jaw. Next up, why don't we open up this Jurassic World Dino Tractors? I believe it's pronounced Dryptosaurus or Dryptosaurus. It's looking pretty cool. Let's open it up. This Dryptosaurus figure is pretty cool, and it's around the same size as many of my Baryonyx figures. It's got some green that runs along from its arms, down its back, all the way to its tail, where it's got a ton of really interesting spikes, and it's got some dark brown from its feet that trails up all the way on its back, all the way to its head, where it has some dark blue right along its mouth as well. And let's see what else. You can move the arms up and down and outwards. You can twist the tail and move the legs too. There is the barcode scanner right there on its back that you can open and close. And it's got an action button right here on its back. It's a pretty small one, but you actually push it side to side and it rotates its head for different sound effects and for chomping too. And let's compare it against a Velociraptor from the Amber collection. This Velociraptor is bright green, it's got the striping along its back, and like many of the Amber collection figures, is super posable and adjustable as well. These figures are really cool. Next up is a Baryonyx versus a Cryolophosaurus figure. They're about the same size. I think the Cryolophosaurus is a little bit bigger and heavier. This dinosaur is pretty muscular. Look at those huge legs. It's got a huge torso as well, and it's got some really cool crown embellishment on the top of its head. And best of all, you can use the tail to move the head around in a really lifelike way. Let's compare that to the Baryonyx figure, a little bit thinner. It's probably a faster runner. It's got some smaller legs and arms. It's got a variety of different colors along its body, and it's got the slide lever action for different chomping movements. Here is a Ceratosaurus versus what I believe is a Yangchuanosaurus. They're about the same in size. I think the Ceratosaurus is a little bit bigger. The Yangchuanosaurus has a really long neck though. Let's check out the Ceratosaurus. It's got some different tones of brown. It's also got that bright red as usual, an action button on its back to open and close its jaw, and you can move its arms and its legs and its tail as well. The Yangchuanosaurus figure is totally different in color. It's green, yellow, and blue, and on this figure you can use the tail to move the head around. Sounds like the sound effects are a little bit broken though. This figure has even smaller front arms. I think those might be even smaller than a T-Rex's front arms, and definitely smaller than a Ceratosaurus's front arms as well. Over here we've got another Amber Collection Velociraptor figure versus a Baryonyx figure. The Baryonyx is a little bit larger than the Velociraptor figure. It has a longer neck and maybe a longer tail, I think. And it's got an action button on its back that you can use to open and close the jaw. Check out that super bright orange detailing right on the top of its head too. And it's got a long and a narrow snout. The Velociraptor, on the other hand, doesn't have quite as long of a mouth, and it's a bit more wide. Its eyes are a lot larger, and since this is from the Amber Collection, it is very posable and adjustable too. Way more posable than that Baryonyx figure. This is a Carcharodontosaurus figure versus a smaller Indominus Rex figurine. Carcharodontosaurus is definitely a lot larger. It's got some bright yellow, orange, and brown coloring. It's got striping all the way down its neck and its back, and it's got a huge action button on its back for chomping. Look at that huge chomping action all the way down, and it's so fast you can hardly see it. This Indominus Rex figure is a bit older and a bit smaller. It's got the classic gray detailing with a bit more green gray coloring along the top and this has some extreme battle damage on the side that you can open and close, which is really cool. And with this figure, you can move the legs and the arms, and you can use the tail to chomp the head. These are our last two dinosaurs of the bin. We've got another Ceratosaurus. This one is from the Hammond collection versus a huge Velociraptor blue figure. The Ceratosaurus figure is a lot bigger in size in terms of its torso. Look at this difference between this skinny Velociraptor and this huge Ceratosaurus figure. And since this is a basic Velociraptor blue figure, there's not a ton of detailing and you can only move the arms and legs. But with the Ceratosaurus, since it's from the Hammond collection, has a lot more awesome detailing and coloring, and you can adjust the arms, the legs, the tail, and the head in all sorts of different poses. Welcome back to the Amazing Dinosaur channel. Today we are checking out a bunch of awesome dinosaurs like T-Rexes, Spinosauruses, and Indominus Rexes from a bunch of different brands, including Mattel, Hasbro, and more. And I've even got some brand new ones. Let's start with this brand new dinosaur figure. All right, World of Giants dinosaur. Let's open this up and see what it is. Can you guess what type of dinosaur it is? All right, check it out. It's an Indominus Rex model. That is so cool. Look at the realistic coloring and all the texture and detail along its body. It's got the spikes on the top, the huge claws on its hands, and look at those teeth too. And you can open and close the jaw as well. This is a super cool model Indominus Rex. Let's check out our other Indominus Rex figures in here. All right, this first one. This is from the old Jurassic World line. I think it's made by Hasbro. Let's check it out. So this figure is pretty big. I'd say it's maybe 2 feet from head to tail. The whole neck and head is made out of rubber, which is really interesting. And when you move the arms up and down, let's see what it does. It opens and shuts the jaw for the roar. That's so cool. Check out those teeth too. This is a pretty cool figure and a classic one. All right, our next Indominus Rex figure. This, I believe, is by Mattel, and this is a battle damage Indominus Rex. There we go. That's awesome. Check out that battle damage on both sides. And this Indominus Rex has a button on the tail that you can use to chomp. That is so awesome. This figure is huge. All right, here's one more Indominus Rex. This is a smaller version, and this is an older one from the old Jurassic World line, so I think it might be made by Hasbro. But check that out. This also has battle damage that you can open and close. How cool is that? Check out those teeth. Look at those eyes. And the tail controls the chomping action too. That is awesome. All right, let's check out some T-Rexes. This is a T-Rex with battle damage. Oh, that's awesome. This figure is made by Mattel, and it is a fully posable dinosaur figure. That is so cool. You can move the neck and open and shut the jaw too. Let's check out some more T-Rexes. Right up front here, we've got the great T-Rex from the old Jurassic World line. Let's see what this figure does. So when you press its tail, it'll go like that. And And now it's in a roaring position. Ready for it to chomp down? Here we go. Ready and go. Oh, that's so cool. This is a great figure. All right, next up, we've got a dark brown T-Rex made by Mattel. And this T-Rex has 2 actions. The first is a chomping action. Look at that, it's like a tearing chomp. That's so cool. And the second action is with the tail. You can sweep it back and forth. That's super awesome. And once again, a huge dinosaur figure. Ooh, look at this red and spotted black T-Rex. This is an old figure. This is from the original Jurassic Park toy line. I believe it's made by Hasbro. And this T-Rex, the whole body is covered in rubber, so its skin is actually really soft everywhere, which is different from a lot of the other toys. And it doesn't work quite as well anymore, but when you press on the stomach, it'll open and shut its jaw. It's an old toy, so it may not work the same as it used to, but this is still a really cool figure to have in my collection. All right, another big T-Rex in the back here. This is a light brown T-Rex. This is from the Camp Cretaceous line made by Mattel. This dinosaur has the chomping button on its tail, and you can also move the tail to move its neck up and down and back and forth. I really like how realistic the movements of this T-Rex are. This is so cool. All right, we've still got a lot more T-Rexes in here. This is actually one that I just bought. Let's check it out. This is a model T-Rex that I bought on Amazon. And look at the detail in the coloring and the texture too. That is so cool. Now, the arms and legs don't move on this dinosaur, but the jaw does open and close still. Look how detailed that is. I think that might be more detailed than Mattel's toys. That is super awesome. Let's see if we can find any more T-Rexes in here. Yep, here's some more. This is another classic T-Rex figure from the Jurassic Park toy line from a long time ago. This T-Rex has some battle damage on the side. And once again, the whole body is made out of rubber. So it's very soft. All right, here's a few more T-Rexes. And look, they're all different colors too. This one is made by Mojo. I'm actually not sure what brands made these ones, but these are all model T-Rexes, so these are more for on display. It looks like only the center T-Rex can open and shut its mouth. The other two are frozen in their roars. But I love the coloring on each of these. These are pretty realistic, I do have to say. And I love the orange-red coloring on this T-Rex too. That is pretty awesome. Right over here in the back, from Mattel, is the great Spinosaurus. This dinosaur has tons of teeth in its mouth, and the coloring in this dinosaur is super cool. It's got the light brown and a lighter stripe all the way to its head, and then the darker brown, and then the red, super bright red on its spine and on its face too. That is so awesome. And it's got the action button on its head for roaring. Right over here, we've got a very different looking Spinosaurus figure. I think this Spinosaurus figure might be from the Schleich brand. And this figure doesn't have any moving parts, so it's stuck in this pose, and it actually looks like it's swimming, because Spinosauruses did actually swim in the water for hunting. But I love the color design on this. That is super cool. Up next, we've got a giant Stegosaurus. And it's from the old Jurassic Park toy line. This dinosaur also feels a bit rubbery on the outside. It's softer than the Mattel dinosaurs. And especially this tail right here is super flexible, so that when you pull on this, it'll swing the tail back and forth. Watch out for those spikes. And And we've got another Stegosaurus, a smaller model. So this one does not have moving body parts. You can't swing the tail, but it is still a great collectible to put on my shelf. I just love the bright colors on these dinosaurs. I see a new dinosaur right here. Let's see what type it is. All right, it is a Velociraptor. This figure is from the Ahupoi brand. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But once again, awesome coloring. I love the bright blue and of course the red eyes. Let's see what other Velociraptors we've got in here. Here's two. This Velociraptor is from the old Jurassic Park line by Hasbro. The only body parts you can move on this one are the arms. And on this Velociraptor, this is from the old Jurassic Park line, I think also by Hasbro. So this toy is pretty old. And it's got a chomping action too. How cool is that? All right, we've still got some more Velociraptors in here. All right, here is a Velociraptor made by Mattel. So this is a newer Velociraptor figure. It's gray with a dark blue color on top, and you can open and shut the jaws. And that is pretty cool. And we've also got these other two. Oh, you know what? This is a Dilophosaurus. We'll save that guy for later. But this is a Velociraptor. And I actually don't have any other Velociraptors with this type of coloring. And you can see on its arms that it's actually got a little bit of feathers on there, which is super interesting. Oh, I'm still seeing some Velociraptors. Let's grab some more. All right. Here is an old Jurassic Park Velociraptor. This Velociraptor figure is super old. I'm not even sure when it was made, but because it has the JP tattoo, you know that it's pretty old. And here's those other Velociraptors. Another classic Velociraptor figure right here with the chomping action. This Velociraptor figure might be made by Schleich. I'm not actually sure, but the body parts don't move on this one. But you can still see a lot more detail than a lot of the other figures on this. Look at that texture too. That is so cool. And of course, we've got another Mattel Velociraptor. Fully movable legs, arms, neck, and jaw. And this dinosaur has battle damage too, that you can open and close. Up next, we've got a giant Triceratops. This is a Jurassic Park figure, so this figure is pretty old, made by Hasbro a long time ago. And like the other older figures that we saw, it has a rubber body, and when you squeeze the stomach, it roars. Oh, right over here, we've got a brand new Triceratops. Let's check it out. This Triceratops is made by Gemini and Genius, and it doesn't have any moving parts, but once again, these models always have a lot more detail with the texture and the coloring. Just look at the shading in that, and the bright red on top. That is so awesome. I see some brightly colored dinosaurs in here. Let's check out what these are. All right, these are all Dilophosauruses. This one was made by Mattel, and this figure specifically is a bit smaller, but it's still got those bright colors. This one is actually from Toys R Us a long time ago, but it's still got that super bright and colorful frill. And this Dilophosaurus is super brightly colored and is from the old Jurassic World line. That is so awesome. I love these bright colors. Oh, here's a few more Dilophosauruses. Let's check these out. I think this small one is made by Mattel again. And I'm actually not sure what brand these are. They aren't Mattel or Hasbro, but they're still pretty cool action figures. You can move the arms and legs and the necks, and that is pretty awesome. Both of them super brightly colored. All right, let's see what dinosaur is next. Oh, we've got a Ceratosaurus by Mattel right here. And check it out. There's an action button on the top that slides back and forth. Wow, that is an awesome roar. Plus, it's got this really cool bright red coloring all along its head and back. And I think we've got some brand new Ceratosauruses too. This is a Ceratosaurus by Schleich, and this is a Ceratosaurus by Papo. These are both model figures, so not as many body parts move, but both their jaws open up, and they both have awesome and super detailed coloring. All right, our last dinosaur species of this collection. It is one of my favorite dinosaurs, the Carnotaurus. This figure is made by Mattel, and it has pretty detailed coloring, plus it's got two actions. There's a button for the roar, and also if you move the tail, it controls his head in a real lifelike way. Let's check out these smaller Carnotaurus figures. I'm not sure of the brands of all of these, but they're quite a bit different from each other. This one has huge spikes, and it actually has a soft texture on the outside. It's like a soft rubber. And the jaw opens and closes as well. Still got those huge horns on the top. And this figure is a little bit smaller, and it's more of a hard plastic. And on this Carnotaurus too, the jaw opens and closes for the roar. That is so epic. And here are our final two Carnotauruses. This big one is a super bright orange with green spots and white spikes along the top, and even purple around its eyes. How interesting is that? And this smaller Carnotaurus is a much more natural coloring. It's a dark gray, it's got the red underneath its throat, and you can even see the eyes. Look at that attention to detail. Welcome back to the Amazing Dinosaurs channel. Today we are checking out a bunch of dinosaurs from my huge dinosaur collection. And I've even got some brand new dinosaurs that we're gonna open up here today. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's get started opening these up. First with the Baryonyx Grim from Camp Cretaceous in the Primal Attack series. Let's open it up. Here we go, let's activate the batteries. And let's check this out. So this is differently colored from the other Baryonyxes that I have. Comes with sound effects, it's so cool. And it's brown on the bottom, and then right next to its eyes, it's all red to really make those eyes pop out. Let's see what kind of actions these have. If you move the tail, let's see, you can get a chomping action, and you can also move it side to side for a slashing action too. This is pretty cool. This is about the same size as the other Baryonyxes I have, but I like this one. I really like the dinosaur figures that you can control the head from the tail, because it looks so much more realistic that way. That is super cool. Next up, we've got the, I believe it's pronounced Coeloris. I might be wrong, but it's from the Extreme Damage series. Let's open it up and check it out. All right, this is a pretty dark dinosaur. It's got that dark green body. A dark red, it's like almost a brown red color. You can move the arms, you can move the legs, and you can twist the tail. Right over here on top is the DNA barcode that you can scan to learn more about the dinosaur. And if you press the button right here, here comes the battle action. That is really cool. I really like these battle damage dinosaurs because it can change the whole look of the dinosaur with just a click of the button. And you can adjust its mouth too. Next up, we've got this dinosaur. It's kind of hard to tell what kind of dinosaur it is, so let's open it up and see. All right, it is a Therizinosaurus, and look how brightly colored it is too. Get this cardboard out. I bet you remember this dinosaur from the new Jurassic World movie, with those huge claws used for stabbing and slashing. And look at the coloring. It's got a nice blue color on the belly and chest, and on the back, from the tail all the way to the head, it is a super bright red. This might be one of the brightest dinosaurs that I have. And you can move the arms on this dinosaur, and I think the mouth too. Yep, there we go. Next up from our brand new dinosaurs, we've got the Monolophosaurus from the Camp Cretaceous toy line. Let's open it up. So this is a smaller dinosaur, but it is super brightly colored with two different colors of green, just like the earlier dinosaur that we saw. So this is a bright green on the sides, and then a dark green right on the top, and on the belly, it's like a tan color. And with this dinosaur, it's got a tail action as well. When you pull down the tail, it gives a chomping action. And you can move the legs and the arms, and that's about it on this dinosaur. But this is pretty cool. And next up from our brand new dinosaurs, we've got this Chaotic Cargo mini toy set. Let's open it up and see what dinosaurs are inside. I think that's pretty cool how they designed the box to look like a transport truck for the dinosaurs. Look at that, the whole thing, even the front. But let's check out these dinosaurs. First, we've got a minis version of Owen. Bingo! Look how small that is. But you can still adjust the arms and the legs. Next up, we've got this. I think this is the biggest dinosaur in the pack. This is a Stegosaurus, and it has the same coloring as the larger ones that I have actually, which we may see later on in this bin. Next up from the pack, we've got a special edition Allosaurus. And these are like pretty bendable too, which is interesting. Most of the larger toys are not very bendable like this. And you can even open and close the mouth too on this tiny little figure. And last of all, we've got this mini Velociraptor. And it looks like blue. That is so cool. Next up, we've got a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex with battle damage. Let's see that battle damage in action. That is super awesome. And all the joints are movable on this T-Rex as well, with the tail, the legs, even the ankles, the arms, and you can pose the head as well, which is really cool. Most of my T-Rexes can't keep their mouth open unless you're pressing the button, but this one you can fully pose. We've got another giant T-Rex, this one also with a posable neck, and it's got movable legs, arms, and a tail as well. And this one has a button on the top of its head that you can press to make it roar. Look at all those teeth too. And this one is darker colored. It's like a gray on the side and then the dark brown on top. Way in the back here, we've got a giant Indominus Rex. This is even larger than the T-Rexes that we just saw. This is a light gray color throughout most of the body. And it's got that darker coloring right along its eyes right there. And this has a few actions as well. It's got a slashing action with its arms, and it's got a button on its tail that you can press for the jaw. That is so cool. Right up front here, we've got a giant, I think this is a Brachiosaurus. Check out this huge body, it's mostly green. It's got a little bit of red on the sides right there. And then on the bottom, it's like an orange tan color. This Brachiosaurus doesn't have any movable parts, but it is pretty squishy and bendy. You can see I can bend its neck back and forth like that. Right up here, we've got one of the newest Tyrannosaurus Rexes from the Jurassic World Dominion series. Check out the size of the face on this T-Rex right here. This is huge, and it's much darker than a lot of the T-Rexes I have. Look at that, it's like a black color right on the top, and then on the sides a dark brown, and then on the belly it's like a light tan color. And the legs are movable, the ankles, the arms, and with the tail, which I really like, you can wiggle the tail and it moves his head back and forth. Plus it's got a button on the tail for the roaring. Right up front here, we've got a little Carnotaurus. This one's different from most of the figures that I have, but you can see that there's an action button on its tail, for chomping, just like that. Plus a button on top, when you press that, it blinks its eyes. Not many of my other dinosaur figures can do that. And you can move the legs and also the tiny little arms as well. Those things are super tiny. All right, another giant T-Rex with different coloring than all the rest. This T-Rex actually comes with a face cage that you can put on. And then when you press this action button on its back, it'll break free from it, which is super cool. Plus, when you twist the tail of this T-Rex, it actually stomps its legs up and down. Up next, we've got a bright green Dilophosaurus with a bright red frills right on its face. Here is a Jurassic World quiz question for you. Who did the Dilophosauruses chase after in the new Jurassic World Dominion movie? Comment below. All right, here is the full-size Stegosaurus. We saw that teeny tiny little one earlier in the video. This is the full-sized one, and I think they actually have the same coloring too. With the brown on the sides, the light tan on the belly, and then those green tips. That's super cool. And this Stegosaurus has 2 action buttons. You can see when you press down here, it moves its face. And when you press down on, which one is it? Here it is. When you press down on this one, this tail swings back and forth. It's spring-loaded, which is super awesome. Right up here, we've got a medium-sized Tyrannosaurus Rex with different coloring than all the rest. You can see that this one has more black stripes that are vertical on it. And you can see on this dinosaur, compared to the other T-Rexes, there's a lot more texture on these. You can't move the legs or the arms on this T-Rex, but you can still open and close the mouth. Right over here, we've got a normal-sized Carnotaurus, still with the same bright red clay coloring and a gray bottom, and it gets darker to like a brown right along the top of its body. On this Carnotaurus, you can wiggle the tail to move its head back and forth and up and down and all that. Plus, there's an action button on its tail to chomp its mouth. Check this out. This is another Carnotaurus, but it has totally different coloring. The pattern on this Carnotaurus is really interesting. It's almost like diamonds on its side. And it's got that bright orange face. You can't close the mouth, unfortunately, or move the legs or the arms or the tail. But I just really like how different this Carnotaurus looks. The color on this one is totally wild. Right over here, we've got a short but super long dinosaur that looks kind of like an alligator, really. This is a Sarcophagus, and it has tons of teeth in its mouth. And the coloring on this is super wild too. It's like a dark purple on the top. It's got the orange and red specks right on the side, and then a blue-gray color on the rest of the side and all along the bottom. And with this Sarcophagus, when you wiggle the tail, it controls his face. How cool is that? Right over here is one of the scariest dinosaurs from the second Jurassic World movie. It is the Scorpius Rex. This dinosaur is super dark along most of its body, other than its belly, which is a bright yellow color. And this dinosaur has 2 actions. It's got the arm slashing action. Whoop, wrong button. The arm slashing action. And the chomping action too. Right here, this is a huge dinosaur. We saw this one earlier. This is another Therizinosaurus, but this is from the Jurassic World toy line. And as you can already hear, it has tons of sound effects. Let's see what actions it has. If you wiggle the tail, you can control its torso. And there's a button right here on its tail that when you press that, it's got that chomping action. How cool. And like the earlier Therizinosaurus that we saw, this one also has the bright red right along its top. Up next, we've got a large-sized Velociraptor, and I think it's Velociraptor Blue. You can move the arms of this Velociraptor, the legs, you can twist and adjust the tail, but the mouth does not open or close on this Velociraptor. But I still like this Velociraptor figure because it is larger than most of the other figures that I have. Most of the other figures are probably around this size, I'd say. So this one is actually giant in comparison. Right over here on the side, I believe this is from the John Hammond collection, and I think this is a Pteranodon. And this has super flexible wings. It's like all made out of rubber, so it's super bendy. And I do like the coloring on this as well. It's got that brown over most of its body, and then that yellow coloring right along its wings. That's super cool, and look at the intricacy of the coloring on its face as well. Up next, we've got this mighty Ankylosaurus with those spikes on the side and armor right on the top. You do not want to mess with this one in the wild. And it's got an action as well. There's a button to swing its tail back and forth with a super heavy end. I bet that would knock out some dinosaurs. Right on top here, we've got a smaller dinosaur, but don't be fooled. This, I believe, is a juvenile Giganotosaurus. It's got like this red purple coloring right along its face. And then on the top, it's got black with the white striping as well. You can't move the arms or legs of this figure, but you can open and close the jaw. Next up, we've got another Stegosaurus, but this one has entirely different coloring. This is a blue-gray color, and you can see that there's some even darker coloring right along the top. And on the belly, as usual, is a tan color. This Stegosaurus has only one action button. When you press right here, it wiggles its tail back and forth with those spikes. But on this one, you can just move the face. There's no action button to control it. Right over here, we've got another giant Velociraptor. This one is super adjustable, and it is a super bright green color. Look at the ways that you can adjust each limb. With the ankles, with the knees, with the elbows, everything is adjustable on this Velociraptor. Right over here, we've got another Baryonyx with totally different coloring. Unlike the brand new Baryonyx that we saw earlier in the video, this one has a gray body along the sides and the bottom, and on the top of the body is a dark blue color with like a little bit of white, and then right on the neck is a super bright blue color. And this Baryonyx has an entirely different action as well. When you slide this back and forth, it does chomping. Check this out. This is the Concavenator. And look at that bright red coloring right along its back right there. Plus, it's got the purple right there, and especially all over its head. This dinosaur is also fully adjustable. You can adjust the arms and the legs and the tail as well. Plus, it's got some action buttons. See, there's one right here. Let's see what happens. There's the chomping action. And when you press down on this huge hump on its back, it swings its tail back and forth too. Here is another giant Tyrannosaurus Rex figure. And just like many of the other models that we have, you can't move the arms or the legs. But look at the intricacy of the texture along its body. Look at all that different coloring from the dark brown to the light brown. There's even like a little bit of, it seems like orange or yellow in there too. And with this model, you can of course open and close its mouth and see all those giant teeth. Here we've got a model Spinosaurus with a huge bright red spine, and the red goes all the way down to the end of its tail. The rest of its body is like a dark gray color, and it's got the yellow belly as usual. And on this model Spinosaurus, you can open and close its jaw. Here is another huge and brightly colored dinosaur. This is the mighty Carcharodontosaurus. Did you know that these dinosaurs have teeth that are up to 8 inches long each? Those are some huge teeth. This dinosaur is a tan yellow color along most of its body, but right along the top we can see these bright orange stripes that go all the way up to the dinosaur's face, where the nose is also the bright orange color. And there's an action button on this dinosaur where you can chomp. Here we've got another miniature Carnotaurus. This one actually has a broken horn right on the top, Do you remember seeing that in the new Jurassic World Dominion movie? I know I do. This dinosaur is a dark green color along most of its body, and it's got the orange pattern right along the top of its body as well. And it is fully posable. You can move the arms, the legs, the neck, and the jaw as well. Right over here, oh, dropped one of them. These are both Pachycephalosauruses. They both have different coloring. They've got orange on both of them, but this one is a green color on its belly and side, and this one is kind of green, but it's more of a yellow green on its belly, and it's got those specks on the side as well. Plus, this figure actually has an action as well. When you pull on the tail, it has a hammering action. Oh, here's a different looking dinosaur. Look at those frills all along its neck. This is the Amargasaurus. This dinosaur is mostly brown along the sides and the bottom, but there's a lot of dark specks on the top. Plus, there's this bright red coloring all along its frills and its spine all the way to the bottom. And this dinosaur has some actions as well. First button moves its neck up and down, and the second button swings its tail. Here we've got a huge winged dinosaur. I remember seeing this one in the new Jurassic World Dominion movie. This is the Quetzalcoatlus. This dinosaur has some super bright coloring right next to its eyes and on the horn on its head and right along the tip of its beak. And the rest of its body is like a blue-gray color, except for its wings that are brown and a light tan. Plus there's an action button right up top. When you press it, it flaps its wings. We've still got some dinosaurs left. Here is the Rajasaurus with the brown coloring along its side and the dark blue right next to its neck and on those spines on its neck too. This Rajasaurus has an action. When you press down on the feet, it does a chomping action. That is super awesome. I think we've got some more velociraptors in here. Oh yeah, here's a few. And they're all super differently colored. This first one kind of looks like blue, but not quite. It has the blue stripe right there, and you can adjust the arms, and you can open and close the jaw. And notice, I think it has a little bit of feathers right on its elbow right there. That's super interesting. The next Velociraptor figure is a dark purple color with brown coloring on the top and along its head. How cool is that? And this last Velociraptor right here is tan and brown with a little bit of yellow specks. And this Velociraptor has an action as well. Its torso actually swings back and forth. It's spring-loaded, so it swings super fast. Let's see what other little dinosaurs we've got in here. All right, this first one is a baby Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it comes with a muzzle and a bandage as well. You can actually take the muzzle off, and you can open and close its mouth. This is a super bright green Tyrannosaurus Rex with that speckled striping along the top. This next figure is a teeny tiny Indominus Rex, but it's still pretty detailed. You can still see the texture of the skin, and it's got that brown coloring right along its spine right there. And this next dinosaur, I'm sure you recognize from the new Jurassic World movie. This is an Atrociraptor. It is mostly white, and it's got that brown stripes, kind of randomly all throughout its body. It's super cool and pretty scary looking. I think we've got a few more winged dinosaurs in here too. Let's check out this giant one first. This is actually another Quetzalcoatlus, but with entirely different coloring. See the purple that fades into like a dark maroon color, and the rest of its body is mostly this tan color. But like the other Quetzalcoatlus that we saw, it has super bright coloring on its face. Check that out. And of course, when you press this button right here, it'll flap its wings. How cool. This next winged dinosaur is a little one. This is a Dimorphodon. Most of its body and wings are this dark brown color, but you can see some orange stripes here on its head and on the bottom of its wings right here too. And this winged dinosaur is a Pteranodon with a dark blue color along most of its body and red detailing along the top. Plus, it has the battle damage right on its body right there. Next up, we've got this super weird looking dinosaur. This is the Tanystropheus. This dinosaur, I believe, resides in the ocean. And check out this super long neck. When you pull the tail, it swoops its neck down like that. That is super cool. And this is a bright dinosaur too. It's a bright blue color. Next up, we've got a dinosaur with some massive spikes. This is a Sauropelta, and it's bright red along the top and a dark brown along the bottom. And this dinosaur is actually spring-loaded, so you can twist the torso back and forth for that slashing action with its horns. Right up here, we've got a little Monolophosaurus figure. This dinosaur has a dark green coloring along the sides and bottom. It has that yellow coloring right along its back, and right on the front of its face, it's got that red coloring too. And with the tail, you can press up and down to open and close its mouth. We've got another super interesting colored dinosaur. This is the Protoceratops, and it's like a light purple color with the yellow striping pattern along the top of its body and along its face as well, right up front. Right up here, we've got a red Stygimoloch. This is a headbutting dinosaur, and when you pull the tail up and down, it has the headbutting action. How cool is that? Oh, I think we've got another baby T-Rex in here. This one is also a bright green color, and it actually has an action. When you pull the tail, you can control its jaw. Next up, we've got another dinosaur from the ocean. This is the Plesiosaurus. This dinosaur is mostly tan along its body, but it does have the dark blue coloring right along its back all the way up to its face right here. And when you press the action button, you can actually make him move his fins. Next up, we've got this green colored Herrerasaurus, and it's actually got a little bit of blue along its top too, which is super interesting. This Herrerasaurus is fully adjustable. You can move the legs, the arms, the neck, and the jaw as well. So it is fully posable. Up next, we've got this bright green Dracorex. Look at how bright this dinosaur is. I think that is super cool. And look at that dark gray striping along its back. But don't forget those massive horns on its head. This Dracorex is fully adjustable. You can move the neck, you can move the arms, and the legs as well. But the jaw does not open and close, unfortunately. Here we have a teeny tiny little Gallimimus with 3 different colors on it. Got the orange tan color for most of its body, and then the blue and red striping all along its back, all the way up to its blue face. And our last dinosaur is another super scary looking Dilophosaurus. This dinosaur is mostly gray with darker gray specks along the top, and on those frills you've got that bright red coloring. Hello and welcome back. Today we are checking out this huge collection of dinosaur figures and putting them on my display shelf right over here. I've got tons of empty space, so let's get started with these brand new ones right here. Let's first get started with the super colossal Tyrannosaurus Rex. Let's open this thing up. Here is the fully assembled, brand new Jurassic World Dominion Tyrannosaurus Rex. And look at the size of this thing. Compared to the other super colossal dinosaurs that I have, this one is a darker brown color. It's got that black top with the stripes along the side right there. And just like my other super colossal figures, it's quite adjustable with the ankles. You can move the legs, you can wiggle the tail, you can move the arms. Oh, you know what? Right on its head, it kind of feels a little rubbery actually. You can kind of press down on it compared to the rest of its body, which is a hard plastic. And of course, like all the other super colossal T-Rexes, this dinosaur has a throat compartment that goes all the way down to its stomach. So you can feed it mini dinosaurs and then empty them out. That is super cool. Next up, we've got the Baryonyx from the Hammond collection. Let's open it up. right, here it is fully assembled. This is one of the most adjustable baryonyxes that I have. I have a few of the velociraptors from the Hammond collection, and this one's pretty similar with how you can move it and adjust it. This baryonyx has a dark top with all those bumps all over, then it's got the white stripe right along the side, and then a gray side and a white underbelly. And on the face, you can see that there's a little bit of blue on the under eye. I really like how adjustable this is though. This is really cool. All right, let's put these two dinosaurs on the shelves. All right, let's grab this T-Rex and bring him on over to the shelf. There we go, T-Rex is on display. Next, let's grab the baryonyx and put it right beside the T-Rex. All right, let's move on to all these other dinosaurs. Let's first start off with this huge Indominus Rex. This Indominus Rex has two features on it. It's got the button on the tail that activates the jaw, and it's got the button on top of its back that activates the slashing action. All right, let's put this on the shelf right over here. Next up, we've got another T-Rex. This one has similar coloring to the giant T-Rex that we've got over here, and this is also a brand new Jurassic World Dominion T-Rex. And this T-Rex has an action button on the tail. You can move the tail to control the neck, and there's a button as well to control the jaw. Let's go ahead and put this on the shelf. Right in the center. All right, moving along, we've got another T-Rex. This is from the old Jurassic World toy line. It's got a rubbery tail, the rest of its body is plastic, aside from the rubbery neck right here. Let's go ahead and put this on the shelf too. Where should we put it? Right next to this other T-Rex. Right over here, we've got a giant Spinosaurus. Look at the size of this dinosaur. It's got the red spine, the red face. There's a button that activates the jaw. All right, let's put this right next to the Indominus Rex. Next up, we've got another giant T-Rex. This one is brown with gray spotting all over the top. And it comes with some pretty cool sound effects, as you can hear. Plus, there's an action button for the roaring. Let's put this down right next to the super colossal T-Rex. Right in the back here, we've got a classic Stegosaurus. This is from the Jurassic Park toy line. So this is a pretty old toy, and it's got that battle damage right there on the side. The tail is pretty rubbery, so you can swing the tail back and forth. All right, let's find a place for this on the shelf. Let's have it go right next to these T-Rexes. And right over here, we've got another T-Rex. This one is a lighter brown color with dark brown on the top and a lighter underbelly. With this T-Rex, you can twist the tail to control the face, and there's a button on the tail to control the roar too. Up next, we've got a giant Mosasaurus. The whole body on this Mosasaurus is pretty rubbery, and as you can see, I can press inward on it, so it's hollow. And the jaw opens and closes too. All right, let's find a place for this. Let's have it go on this lower shelf right here. Right back here, we've got a smaller predator. This is the Rajasaurus, and this is a newer toy as well. And when you press down on the neck, has the roaring action. Let's put this right up here on this higher shelf. I think we've still got another T-Rex in here. Yeah, here's another one. This is kind of almost gray colored with brown on the top and a light underbelly. And this T-Rex has the button near the head that you can press for the roar. All right, there we go, right next to the other T-Rex. Here we've got another Stegosaurus with different coloring, and this figure is a bit newer than the Jurassic Park one that we saw earlier. Plus, this Stegosaurus has some actions. When you press down here, it swings the tail back and forth. That is very cool. Let's put it on the top shelf, right next to the Rajasaurus. Next up is a Carcharodontosaurus. I think I actually have two of them. This is a blue version with orange and brown detailing on the top. And then I've actually got a yellow one with orange and brown detailing on the top too. Let's put both of these on the shelf. Here we've got an Allosaurus, I believe. This dinosaur is gray with yellow detailing all over its body. It has an action button right on the back to control the jaw. Next up, we've got a good old Ankylosaurus with a brown underbelly and a green and gray top. This Ankylosaurus also has an action button to sweep the tail. Put the Ankylosaurus right up there. Right over here, we've got a bright green Velociraptor. I believe this Velociraptor is also from the Hammond collection. As you can see, it is super adjustable all over its body. It is really cool. Let's put it on the same shelf as the Baryonyx over here. Next up, we've got the Yangchuanosaurus. This is a newer dinosaur from the Jurassic World Dominion series, I believe. This dinosaur is mostly green around its body with the brown detailing on the top and the bright orange right on its face. Let's go ahead and find a place for this on the shelf. Right over here, we've got another huge predator. This is the Tarbosaurus. Look at those huge spikes on its back and that bright red under its chin too. This is a really cool looking predator. Let's put him on the higher shelf, right here. Oh, he barely fits in there. Right up top here, we've got a super bright dinosaur. This is the Ceratosaurus. This dinosaur has some green, blue, and orange all over its body. And look at the size of those horns too. That is pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and put this right next to the Jurassic Park Stegosaurus. Here is another awesome predator and one of my favorite. This is a Carnotaurus with the red and dark purple. It looks kind of like purple on the top of its body. This dinosaur also has an action button on its back for the chomping. All right, let's find a place for this on the shelf. Let's put them next to these T-Rexes over here. Right in the back here, we've got a noisy dinosaur. This, I believe, is a Cryolophosaurus, and it has some super awesome detailing on its back and on the top of its head. Check that out. Cool, let's find a place for this. Let's put him right next to the Carcharodontosaurus. Here we've got a super long dinosaur. This is a Sarcophagus. It's got a blue, gray underbelly, and then the purple, orange, and red on the top. This is really cool. Let's find a place for this right next to the Mosasaurus. Here's another predator. I believe that this one is a Ceratosaurus. And it's got that bright red coloring and that white horn right on the top of its nose. The rest of its body is gray with a little bit of brown. Let's find a place for this on the shelf. Right next to the Tarbosaurus. All right, we've got another Baryonyx in here. This one is not from the Hammond collection, so it's not quite as adjustable as the other Baryonyx that we opened up today. But it's still got an action button right on the top. Let's put this on the shelf right next to the Ceratosaurus. Here is a red, or it's like a clay red Triceratops with brown detailing on the top. This Triceratops has one action button right on the top that controls the head. Let's put this dinosaur right next to the Pseudoceratops. Right down here, we've got a small raptor. This one is tan with brown on the top, and this raptor has a slashing action. You can see it's spring-loaded in its torso, so that you can actually slash with the claws. Let's put this right next to Ankylosaurus. Check this out. This is a baby Brachiosaurus. and it's pretty adjustable still. You can move the legs, the neck, and you can twist the tail too. So let's find a place for this on the shelf. Let's put this right next to the Triceratops. Here we've got another raptor. This one is a yellow color with battle damage on the side that you can open and close. That is really cool. Let's put this next to the other raptor. Alright, another Baryonyx with different coloring again. This has some bright blue right on the top of its head and some darker blue along its body, a little bit of white, and then the rest of its body is a gray color. Plus, this Baryonyx has a slide action button, so you can get multiple sound effects with each slide. That is very cool. Let's put it on the same shelf as this other Baryonyx. Here we've got a different looking Triceratops. This is a dark green with orange spots all over it. That's pretty interesting. This figure is also pretty adjustable. You can move the arms and you can move the head up and down too. Let's find a home for this on the shelf. Put it right here next to this Baryonyx. I believe this dinosaur is a Monolophosaurus. I think I actually have multiple of this one. Yeah, I think this is a Monolophosaurus as well. And look at the difference in coloring between the two. That is really cool, totally different. Let's find a home for these. Let's put them on this lower shelf right here. Still got a few dinosaurs left. This, I think, is another Ceratosaurus, but with totally different coloring. It's a dark green with gray detailing along the top. And this dinosaur also has the slide action button for multiple sound effects. Very cool. Let's put this right next to the T-Rex, right over here. Next up, we've got a small dinosaur. This is a Shringosaurus. It's got a super long neck and two huge horns on its head. That is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and find a place for this. Right here on the front shelf. Next up, we've got a dinosaur that looks kind of like a Stegosaurus, but it isn't. It's a Chialingosaurus. Check out those spikes right there on its shoulders. How cool is that? Let's put this dinosaur right next to this Triceratops up here. Right over here, we've got a dinosaur that looks kind of like a Triceratops, but I think it's actually a Kosmoceratops. Look at how different all those horns are on the front. That is really cool. It's got some green striping right along the top. Let's put this one on the front shelf too. Here's a big dinosaur. This is a Kentrosaurus. It's got those huge spikes right along the side, even more big than the Chialingosaurus that we just saw. Let's put this right next to the Monolophosauruses right here on the bottom. Here we've got another Baryonyx. This one has bright orange on the top of its head, and the rest of its body is a light brown with blue detailing on the top. That is cool. Let's put this one right next to this Ceratosaurus. I believe this dinosaur is a Parasaurolophus. Look at that huge horn right on its head. These are really cool looking dinosaurs, I think. Let's go ahead and put this right next to the Kentrosaurus. Next up, we've got a Herrerasaurus. Look at that super long mouth and all those teeth. That is really cool. Let's put this dinosaur right in front of the Carnotaurus. We've got a few more raptors in here. This raptor is bright red with, I think that's purple on its body. And this other raptor is more of a brown color with orange detailing on the top. That's really cool. Looks like we don't have any more space up there for raptors, so let's go ahead and put them right up here, up in front. Here is a purple Stegosaurus with yellow spots all over its body. That is pretty neat, and the legs and tail are adjustable on this dinosaur. Let's go ahead and put him right in front of this super colossal T-Rex. Just a few left. Here is a bright red mini dinosaur. Look at all those spikes and armor plating. That is really cool. Let's put this right next to the Cosmoceratops. And last but not least, we've got a green Sauropelta. It's dark green on the top, light green on the bottom, with those huge spikes right on its side. Let's put this right in front of this T-Rex up here.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add this to our massive Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, Godzilla, King Kong studio. Remember, you've seen this awesome video on amazing dinosaurs on YouTube.